Tonight, bloodshed on the streets of Kazakhstan as protests take a deadly turn. Shots ringing out across the city of Almaty. Security forces say they, quote, eliminated dozens of demonstrators, leaving more than 1,000 injured after swarms of armed protesters sieged government buildings and set them on fire overnight. At least 12 officers were killed, another 350 hurt, 2 of them beheaded, according to police. Authorities releasing this surveillance footage showing a car plowing through a line of officers responding to the protests. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev's residence in Almaty desolate and charred. A day after armed protesters broke in, their burnt-out trucks lodged in security checkpoints. Russia and its allies sending armored vehicles and soldiers to the region. The unprecedented show of force marks the first time the Collective Security Treaty Organization, or CSTO, the Russian equivalent of NATO, has deployed troops to aid one of its member nations.
This will be a big test for the CSTO, which has, in previous instances in Kyrgyzstan and in Armenia, not wanted to take on much of a role, but also a big test for Russia, whether it has the capability to stabilize the situation in a country that is quite important for its own security.
The protests in Kazakhstan, which were sparked by anger over a surge in fuel prices, have since exploded into nationwide demonstrations. People angry over economic inequality and government corruption pouring into the streets for 5 straight days. The president conceded to demands to reinstitute price caps on fuel and replace his entire cabinet, but all that has done little to quiet the movement. Tonight, the UN calling for restraint on all sides.
People have a right to express their grievances. It needs to be done peacefully, and security forces need to protect that right.
The unrest in Kazakhstan, one of the most economically and politically stable former Soviet states, now threaten to destabilize a region already reeling from similar democratic uprisings in Ukraine and Belarus, but with Russian troops on the ground and protesters not satisfied with the government's response, a peaceful end to the conflict is nowhere in sight. Matt Bradley, NBC News.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.